So one thing to look out for is that depending on where you've selected, the position of the ends of your ramp might change after you sort something. So it's always good to check that they still make sense before you go on to another sorting operation. But it does recognize whether you have the ramp forward or backwards, like whether the foreground color comes first or second in the palette. It handles both cases correctly. So I've got the same auto slice selected here, so I'll just toggle ascending on and put this back to the order that it was before. Well, that's interesting. So it's not the order it was before, and that's because, well, because there's ordering on the other dimensions, but we don't need to get into that. I'll just fix it up. We want red sorting, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So that's a basic demo of the auto slicing. It doesn't really matter however big a slice you select, as long as there's no duplicate colors. It'll figure out things correctly. It'll select everything from the foreground color to the background color. If there is a duplicate, it'll say, I don't know what to do here. It'll reject the operation. So you won't accidentally sort some silly selection of your palette. Right. Now another option that I added is what I call partition sort. There's a partition option here, and what that does is, instead of making you say, you know, I want to sort this block, and then I want to sort this block, and I want to sort that block, right? Instead of that, you just say, my palette's broken up into partitions along this channel, right? If you look here, you can see that this has got green is 0, green is 128, green is 255. So in this case, it's broken up into partitions on the green channel. So if we want to sort this one and this one and this one individually, then that's one way to do it. So I'm just thinking of an interesting sort to have on this. Who knows? Yeah, let's sort it by hue first. And now it's important to mention that the partitioned option has to be activated for these down here to mean anything. If you're not in partitioned, if you don't have a partitioned selection chosen, then these won't do anything. So you can ignore them if you're not in partition mode. Okay, so we're sorting these 3 partitions here. We're sorting each of them individually by hue, which looks kinda cool. And because it's done by partitions, see, these partitions are still made up the same. Like, this is still all green 0, this is green 128, this is green 255. So if you don't like the ordering that you got, it's pretty easy. You just say, oh, I got that the wrong way around, so I'd better fix that, and that's how it's done. Okay, that looks kinda a bit whacked, but anyway. It's that kind of partition sort option is a bit more useful for the larger palettes, say when you're trying to break them up by hue or chroma. In case you don't know, chroma is sort of the parallel of saturation, how vivid something is, how non-grey it is. That's the kind of formal definition. So I'll just get this palette back to a more understandable ordering. I'll pause it. Okay. Next topic. In a lot of palettes, you have them set it up so that you have, say, a run of 16 and a run of 16. You know, you have 16 sets of 16. You'll see that a lot on like GBA palettes, because that's sort of related to how their hardware is set up. So it can be handy to be able to say, okay, I have sort of an array where there's say 3 runs that are 3 long. That's what we've got here, or even 9 runs that are 3 long. So I added support for that with this slice expression option here. Now by default this is empty, and that's a valid slice expression. It just means the entire palette. But if I put in something like this, we're selecting each of these blocks, because I'm saying, okay, there's three rows here, and it'll just say, okay, so there's 3 rows, there's 27 items, so 3 over 20, 27 over 3 is 9, so it's going to automatically work out that each individual run is 9 entries. So, well, what have we got? We'll reorder each of those by red. Oh, that did nothing. Of course, because they're already ordered by red. Okay, so let's order them by green. Yeah, so now green is, there's 0 green, there's 128 green, there's 255 green, and so on. Same for each of these. That's one kind of slice expression you can use. You can be you could also say do that so that you have 9 rows of 3. Well, that's going to be pretty obvious. I'm just going to, each of these rows will reverse because I'm sorting it by lightness. So that's one slice, that's one slice, that's one slice, instead of the whole block being a slice. Okay, cool. So let's put that back to how it was. You can also do a even more specific slice, like you can say I want to start at element 9, which is this one, because this is 0, 1, 2, it starts at 0, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can say I have a block of a row that's 9 colours wide, a single row starting at 9, and I want to sort that. So we can do that. I'll just sort that block now. And that's cool. I like that. Sort of works well with the bit next to it. Now I'm going to have to get that one back in order again. This is kind of these slice expressions are kind of good to when you're doing multiple sorting operations on a single area. It's more reliable than the auto slice option, because like I said before, when you reorder a ramp, maybe according to what kind of sort you're doing, maybe the colours that were on the end of the ramp, they aren't anymore, so you don't want to sort the whole ramp and then sort of your colour ends up, one colour ends up there and one colour ends up there, and you're only sorting most of the ramp in the next operation you do. That's kind of, no, don't want. Okay, I'll just get this back into order. Basically because this is a color cube, I just get it back into order by sorting on each of the channels. Well, looks like I only needed to sort by green on that one, but sorting by red, green and blue always gets it back into order.